Hey there, hey there, hey there. Oh my goodness, I hope you like the title of this live. The Coming of the Cottonwool World. Now, I actually think that would make a friggin' good title for a science fiction. The Coming of the Cottonwool World. It just came to me then, so I like it, and I'm going to start writing that book. I've got actually about 3 science fiction books in my head, unwritten. I've never written, obviously, science fiction. I don't even read them, but, you know, I've got some good ideas there brewing. If someone could just give me an extra 3 or 4 hours a day, that would be awesome. I'm sure we all feel like that. Now, if you are here on the live stream, like, just say hi. Let me know you're here, because I don't always know when people are here. Facebook doesn't show me, apparently. Or maybe there is no one here, and that's a distinct possibility. But I have never worried about talking to myself. It's something I've always done. Ask my son. Anyway, I hope you like my hairdo. It's the I don't give a fuck hairdo, which I have most of the time, especially when it's hot. Takes literally half a second to do, and whenever my hairdresser, who I don't see very often, but when I do, because sometimes I bump into him up at the shops, and whenever he sees it, he just like rolls his eyes and backs away from me in disgust, really. He's very unimpressed with how cavalier I am with my hair. Anyway, I don't really even go to the hairdresser very often these days. I used to get it coloured, but I haven't. Like, that's what's left of my colour, and then the rest of it's just me. Anyway, I better get on to the topic at hand, and this is something that came up in a group of fellow authors. Some of you may be here, which was about some other author, like some chick who wrote this book, and she used a bad word in her book. And because of the use of that bad word, she recalled 200,000 copies of her book, or something along those lines. Maybe it was 20,000. Anyway, it was a lot. And it really annoyed me, because the Cottonwool world that we are living in, that is a very naughty cat who's trying to get my attention. The Cottonwool world that we're living in is actually, I have heard it being called by people much cleverer than me, the totalitarian tiptoe, which basically means start making everyone feel guilty for using words. Now, I don't know if you've ever turned on the TV, watched the 6 o'clock fucking news. There is more offensive stuff on that than anything. I mean, I don't watch that, but occasionally by accident it happens, and the things you see on that are shocking on a truly deep level, and the things that you hear about, and movies and all that kind of stuff. It's all like, now that can be offensive. And you know what? If you are offended, you stop reading, you stop watching. I turn it off. I don't turn it on again. And that's it. I am offended by the stuff I see on the 6 o'clock news. I'm deeply offended by it, so I don't watch it. I mean, I guess what I'm seeing is that the use of certain words, these words are given so much power, and I'm talking here about the friggin', what's it called? Politically correct. Oh my God. This is the coming of the Cottonwool world. Like, nobody is allowed to be offended, okay? You know, don't say that because you might offend that group. Don't say that because you might offend that group. It is actually censorship at its most insidious, and it's coming in the guise of something that it is not. It's coming in the guise of trying to, you know, oh, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Whereas, you know what? It's called life. Like, things will happen. People will say things, and sometimes they say things meaning to offend you, and you know what? Get offended by that. Other times they say things out of ignorance or out of just, you know, whatever. And then the other people get so offended and then go off in a big huff and then complain, and then no, we can't say that anymore because we don't want to offend those people who want to live in the Cottonwool world. So that is what truly, truly offended me. I'm offended by that. That offends me. So I had to just do my little rant about it, because I think it is insidiously dangerous to us authors or writers or creators or healers or people who come from the heart and bring what is truly inside them to the outside. The only way you can do that, I swear to you, the only way you can do that is if you remove the censor. And that means sometimes stuff that's going to come out of your mouth or out of your heart is going to be kind of, it's going to be a bit ugly or prickly or, it may offend someone, but you've got to be okay with that. And if you are terrified of putting one step forward or hitting one keyboard stroke in case it's an offensive one, you are going to, it is George Orwell's 1984 world where you can't say anything. Okay, in that world, you couldn't say anything because they would come down on you like a ton of bricks. That was kind of a little bit more like maybe communist fucking China or Russia or something like that. But you, in this world, the one that we're living in right now, where the political correctness is doing it in a much more insidious way, it's plastering a nice, pretty, it's wrapping it up in nice wrapping paper so that we think that it's really about being a good citizen and not upsetting anyone. That's what they're making it look like, and especially to women or those the namby-pamby kind of Californian guys. Sorry, no offense. There you go. That's me trying to be sensitive. That's how I see them. Those, those American guys, like Aussie guys. There are, of course, there's plenty of Aussie guys that are like those, but I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about especially the type of women who are too terrified to offend anyone to ever speak their truth. And so then what comes out of them is a very filtered, very censored, very watered down version of what they're actually saying. And so then everyone goes, oh, that's nice. And, nice is the word that we all want to see. Oh, that's nice. And, they like it, and everyone's happy, and nothing changes, and no one is moved negatively or positively. No kind of emotions are evoked. There's no passion. And that's the world that we're creating by being too terrified to offend anyone. Now, I don't set out to offend people. That's certainly not my motivation. I know that some of the things that I say and the way I say them, I know that they probably will offend some people. Some people are easily offended by swear words or whatever. Spelling mistakes. Some people really are offended by that, and I litter them through everything. I mean, I certainly pay an editor to get rid of them out of my work, but in my blog posts and all that stuff, I'm sure they're there. They're my signature, actually. No, they're not. I don't approve of them. I just do them, and I haven't got time to fix them up. That's an aside. That may offend some people. Certainly my political incorrectness might offend some people. And again, I'm totally okay with that, because it's all right to offend people. And this is even more important. It's all right to be offended. If you go out and interact in the world, things will offend you. And, that arouses some emotion in you, and that's okay, even if it's a little bit of an upset emotion. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to kind of bruise you irreparably. And if you think that it will, then you know what? Grow a pair. What can I say? This is not the coming of the Cottonwool world unless we allow it to be. And by doing what that author did, I don't even remember what her name was. I'd never heard of her before, but she had a very pretty, beautiful face, and I'm sure she was a good girl who never offended anyone in her entire life. And she was so devastated by using, she inadvertently used this word that she had to retract all of her books. Now, to me, that felt like She's not being true to herself. Instead of saying, you know what, guys, I meant no offense by it, but if you want to take offense by a word, then go right ahead. You know, get your knickers in a knot if that's what you need to do. We all have to realize that things will offend us. I am offended by political correctness. I deal with it. This is maybe my way of dealing with it. I have my little rant on Facebook. I'm not going to close people down, though, although perhaps I should. Stop it. You know, that's definitely a possibility. But let's not live in a cottonwool world. Let's not subscribe to political correctness. As a woman, I don't really care if there's like anti-female political incorrectness being directed at me. You know what? It is water off a duck's back. I just think if it is meant in a derogatory term, which clearly sometimes I've had that, I either get feisty and fight back, or I just think to myself, that says a lot more about you than it does about me. And, you know, I have these little thoughts like, you're just jealous because you can't make people, and I can. And I have only one, but you know what? That's one more than you'll ever make. Whatever crap you tell yourself. But I guess the point is that if you get offended by words that people use, and especially in this instant, the word was not even used in a way that was meant to be offensive. God, you know, please don't. This is killing our creativity, killing it as authors and writers and creators and healers. By having this kind of censorship, our creativity is just going to be strangled, and we'll all become, you know, bland, grey cardigan, you know, nice, that people who evoke zero emotion and create no waves and just, you know, cruise through life without making any difference to ourselves or anyone else. So that's my message to you, is be brave enough to be politically incorrect. You know, be brave enough to offend, either by mistake or on purpose. Like, it's okay. No one's ever died by having a word said against them. It hasn't happened like that. You know, your motivation is not to incite violence or hatred. The motivation's what's important, right? So that is what I just had to get off my chest. That the coming of the Cottonwool world stops here. No more. We will say what we want to say, and we'll say it the way we want to say it. And if others are offended by that, then they can, you know, they can switch off, and they will. And that's absolutely okay too. Oh, it feels good having said that. So that's my message to you. Now, my other message is to encourage you to contact me as your author coach or your writing mentor. One of the things that I do is that I call myself a healer that writes and a writer that heals, because I find that writing is one of the most healing activities. So even if you don't think of yourself as a writer, once you start some of the exercises that I work with my clients with, a lot of stuff can be healed. Now, sometimes this ends up becoming something you publish. Sometimes it is the beginning of your author journey. Sometimes it is just a healing experience. And if you are a healer and you began like I did as a healer, I probably did begin as a writer. If I go right back, like as a little girl, when I definitely used to write all the time. But as an adult and earning my living as a healer, I came to writing later, but writing about healing or bringing the same energy that I bring to my healing interactions. So when I work with a client as a healer, the ability to drop into the energy of that person and interact with it and create something that is unique because it's the merging of my energy with their energy is just, it's magic. What can I say? It is magic. And I guarantee you that people who have experienced a healing like that really, they understand that. Now, bringing that to your writing it's not that different, but it's a magic because you are interacting, I guess, with your own muse. And if you can really unlock that, and that's why I come back to what I just began this whole live stream about, the censorship kills the muse. Oh my God, it kills the muse. So what I support my clients as an author coach, what I support them to do is to bring that muse to life. The muse within all of us, that healer, that creator, that we have so often ignored, forgotten, subdued, suppressed, censored. So this is what it's all about, people. So if you like the sound of that, then just drop me a message, and I will get back to you with all the details, because I have some really cool coaching packages. Sometimes I just have a single session with people, but quite often they like to have a series of sessions. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, I would love to connect with you. And I have some very special little goodies that I often give away. And at the moment I'm in a little bit of a generous mood, so I have been adding those to the packages when people have been contacting me. So, if this is something for you, take action. Just, if you're feeling it in your heart, you're feeling it in your soul, you want to have that interaction, you want to have that level of connection, and you want to reconnect with your muse, get in contact with me, because this is what I live for. This is what it gives me so much pleasure. So I would love to do that. But the biggest message is don't censor the inner muse. This is not the coming of the Cottonwool world. It's not a new science fiction novel. But don't forget, the world needs your story, so you need to write now. All right. Bye.